Hey guys, so today I wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit of an impromptu video. Today I wanted to discuss or kind of like give a complete guide. So this is going to be a complete guide for Black women just on self-worth, self-esteem, how to navigate the world of dating as well, and just ensuring that you are not swayed by the lifestyle and what men may try to sell to you, or this idea of luxury lifestyle. It's always best to have your own and ensure that you are providing the lifestyle that you want before you allow any man or any person to provide that lifestyle for you, because at the end of the day, as he giveth, he could taketh away. The reason why I've been triggered to make this video is obviously with the recent passing of the beautiful Ashley Janae and many other cases as well. I just feel like Black women are being targeted for manipulation and just being put in a vulnerable position, and I don't know, I don't like it. So I kind of want to just kind of give my 2 pence. We'll be talking about this whole idea or this false narrative of Black women not being desirable, this idea of us having to settle or operate from a desperate place because we've been programmed to operate from a scarce level, and just how to build an optimum level of self-worth. Let's get straight into it. So the first thing we need to do is address the biggest lie that's ever been told in society, and that is that Black women, especially dark-skinned women, are the least desired. This narrative has been repeated so much that most Black women have internalized it as truth. And there's one thing I want you to remember when it comes to life. We've all been programmed to have certain belief systems, but the reality is a lot of belief systems are not truth or factual. It's just something that we have internalized as truth, so then we kind of see it as our reality, and then the world reflects our belief system and shows up as reality. The more you're consuming content on the internet, you're hearing these podcasts of these weirdos of Red Pill Society telling us that Black women are this, Black women are that. You start to internalize this and think this is reality or factual, but it is not. It is a social narrative that's literally shaped by bias, media, and conditioning. You have to realize that when you believe that type of narrative, even subconsciously, it shows up in your behavior. It shows up in what you tolerate, what you choose to accept. You feel like you have to prove yourself, and you usually settle for potential instead of standards, and creating the relevant standards to help you operate from your highest self. So what you need to do is stop appealing to everyone and start recognizing your worth and recognizing how unique you are and the beauty that you hold within. And the only person that can do this and convince you is yourself. If you don't truly believe that you are beautiful, and if you don't see it from your own personal lens instead of society's lens, girl, you will always operate from a place of insecurity. You will always operate from a place of less than and lack, which is not what we want. I actually recently just watched the whole Danish Deception TikTok series because I'm quite late to the game, and one thing that I realized was the girl that literally was deceived, a lot of the issue was the fact that she didn't have enough self-worth. And so you need to recognize that without self-worth, you will always tolerate less than. You will always accept what people hand to you, even if it's not up to par with what you want. And again, this is something we can't have. We have to operate from a place of audacity. And even if people criticize it, even if people are saying, oh, you're being unrealistic, this isn't what you deserve, blah, blah, blah. Girl, choose to ignore it. Choose to accept the fact that you deserve the world and stick by that. If you start rewiring your brain to think that you're worthy of more, your life and your reality will start to reflect your belief systems of you knowing that you're worthy of such life. If you decide to operate from a place of lack, from a place of scarcity, then this is what your reality is going to reflect. It's all about rewiring your brain chemistry and also transforming your belief systems of yourself internally. It's not just about doing your hair, your makeup, your aesthetics. Even though I also preach about that on my channel, it's very important for you to work on your internal state, how you see yourself, your self-concept, and being comfortable in your skin. So let's talk about rewiring your self-worth. So the reality is self-worth is not something that you wait to feel. It's something you build and you create through repetition and standards. If you've ever experienced rejection, inconsistency, or just not feeling worthy, you have to recognize your brain has probably reiterated, I am not chosen. And when you repeat this over to yourself over and over again, you start to live this narrative. So what we need to do is start retraining our brain. Instead of saying things like, I am not worthy, or, men don't like girls like me, or I'm always overlooked, replace it with, the right men value me deeply, I'm selective, not overlooked, right? It's all about these small things you tell yourself, the small thoughts that you decide to entertain. This will change the game. Another way to build your self-worth is through building evidence. Self-worth grows from proof. So how you dress, how you carry yourself, how you speak, what you affirm to yourself, and what you tolerate is all different ways you can build self-worth to work in your favor. You don't want to wait to feel worthy. You want to act like a woman who has standards and your brain catches up. Another way is to be very selective with where you position yourself in a world. As a Black woman, we don't need to be everywhere. We don't need to be in spaces and environments that will repeat the negative, biases that society tries to program into our brains. We need to be very selective and ensure that we're in environments, places, and in relationships that celebrates us, that embraces us, and that allows us to be our best selves. If you find yourself in low quality environments where, things like colorism is the norm, then that's when you're always going to feel less than and unworthy. So start being very selective with the environments you put yourself in. Like, operate from this level of knowing that you deserve to be in high quality environments. And I don't just mean the whole generic, high value this, high value that, because I just feel like the term high value is so played out. But you do want to position yourself in high quality environments that reinforce a positive way for you to see yourself, if that makes sense. I really do want to briefly touch up on this whole lifestyle trend, especially when it comes to dating men. As you go outside and you're dating and whatnot, do not be fooled or swayed by the lifestyle a man has, because you really don't know how he's attained it. He could have attained that through, accumulating a mass amount of debt, and you being swayed and manipulated could actually cause you to now be involved in that problematic level of debt and whatnot. My lesson that I just kind of want to reiterate to you guys, what I kind of want to just share, is that to always be a woman that gets her own. So make sure that you are providing a lifestyle that you desire. If you want a soft life, if you want a luxury lifestyle, that is all well and good, but make sure you are able to provide that for yourself. Instead of trying to seek a man to be a provider for you, if you're not able to attain that lifestyle for yourself first, then don't bother looking, because you're always going to put yourself in a vulnerable position. And if there's anything that we can learn from the tragic passing of Ashley Janae, it's that not all that glitters is gold. Just because a certain lifestyle is being portrayed doesn't mean that that is the reality, or that's what we should be aspiring to, attain or gain. At the end of the day, we don't know how some people are getting their money. So it's always best to be self-sufficient, to have our own, to make sure that we are providing in our lives, and just ensure that we are good before we even seek out a man that's able to provide as well. Because at least when we are good, when we've built a lifestyle for ourselves, we don't need to worry about staying in situations that do not serve us, that do not give us the life that we want. So make sure you have your own. Make sure as well that you're building your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-concept. I'll probably do a whole separate individual video on self-concept and your identity, but basically what you need to ensure is that you are, identifying and understanding what values and morals and belief systems you want to hold in your life. Like literally get a notebook, write it down, get clear and stick by that. And then on top of that, make sure that you have a level of high standards that you don't waver from. Like again, society has programmed us to think that we need to settle for whatever we get or whatever gives us attention, but that's just a very poor level and a poor way of living life, especially as a Black woman. So I think it's very important for you to have high standards and more or less work on your self-esteem, your self-worth and your self-concept. Those three elements will change the game on how you live your life and what you will attract. So once you work from within, everything else will start to reflect. That's like the main lesson that I kind of want to just hone in on. And again, I'll probably do like a whole separate like teaching and guide on this because I do feel like it's important, but I do just kind of want to get this video out there because with just how everything is unfolding and with what's going on in the world, I just want women, especially Black women, to know the power that they hold and for them to genuinely be comfortable within themselves, to prioritize themselves, because that's another thing. Like for so long, the world has expected us to, be there for everyone else and provide and, be the strong, independent Black woman. And these times it's depleting us. So instead of doing all of that, make sure that you're good first. Make sure that, the foundations of your life is solidified. You're able to operate from your best self because you've poured into yourself before you even think of helping others. Make sure that yourself is good. Make sure your finances is right. Make sure your lifestyle is right. Make sure you've got your core people that you can rely on who are able to pour into you as much as you pour into them. And also make sure that you are creating the soft lifestyle that you want for yourself. Like this whole idea of men providing and, being your sponsor, it comes at a cost. Like a lot of these rich men are not mentally sane. Like they are not mentally stable. And a lot of these cautionary tales tell us time and time again. And so it's very important that as women, with all the blessings that we're given, we need to make sure that we are making our own lives and creating the lives that we want and not having to rely on a man or anyone else to create that for us. And that's not me saying that all wealthy men are crazy or have sick intentions and whatnot. No, all it is just making sure that you're good and you've built your life and set your life up where you don't need to be dependent on a man. You do not need to shapeshift and change yourself or lower your standards just because a man is providing for you. Instead, you're ensuring that you operate from your highest self. You ensure that you're practicing your high standards, your self-worth, and any red flags, you're gone. And you can leave because you've set your life up where you don't need to rely on any man to provide for you financially or your lifestyle. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is share with you guys a few ways that you can rewire your brain so that you start to see yourself in a positive light. Of course, there are certain things that you should kind of like get professional help with, seek therapy, but these are just some general tips and some tips that have helped me. So the first thing you need to do is to name the specific programming accurately. So what does this mean? This means actually sitting down and seeing how society has genuinely negatively programmed you. So an example of this would be saying, instead of telling yourself maybe Black women are less valued, the more accurate frame and the more accurate way of the negative programming that we've had is, I have been exposed to radicalized and gendered messaging for years, and repeated exposure can shape self-perception. So what you are doing is you are identifying the specific programming that society has done onto you, has put you through, and then realizing that repeated exposure of this programming can cause me to change the way I see myself. This matters because you are basically recognizing and identifying the ways in which the world has made you feel less than and making it a thing where it's not your fault, but it's also your opportunity to change the programming, right? Next up, you want to actually be deliberate with the affirmations that you tell yourself every single day. So you want to make sure that you're affirming to yourself the generic, I am beautiful, I'm confident within myself, like all of these different things. But you also want to ensure that you're practicing this every single day. And anytime that you get a negative thought on your self-image, which will happen naturally because we can't control the thoughts that come into our mind, but we can control the amount of attention and energy that we entertain within those specific thoughts. What you want to do is replace them quickly with the positive thoughts. Write down 5 specific affirmations that you can affirm to yourself multiple times a day, and make sure that you're repeating it to yourself daily. Next up, make sure you are curating your visual diet ruthlessly. So what this means is removing any people, so any pages or content creators that basically center one narrow beauty ideal. Make sure you're following Black women that are similar to you, that have similar skin tones that you feel inspired by, and any of those red pill podcasts or just negative content, make sure you remove them. You want to be so selective with what content you see. You want to make sure that you are consuming content that allows you to feel beautiful and that reiterates the beauty that you have within and on the outside too. And of course, make sure you remove yourself from environments that reinforce the negative programming of this whole idea of us women being less desirable. You need to make sure that you're removing yourself from low quality environments. One thing that I had to kind of like get real with myself is that low quality, bummy clubs and motives was not a place that I felt like as a Black woman I would be celebrated in. So it was important for me to remove myself from that, because every time I went to these places I didn't feel valued. And when you keep going and repeating and going back to places that don't celebrate you, you then get a more negative self-image. It basically reinforces your insecurities, which defeats the whole purpose of you becoming more confident and more secure within yourself. So any environments that you put yourself in that you find doesn't allow you to feel your most confident, doesn't celebrate the woman you are, remove yourself, right? It's never worth it. It's just going to reiterate you having low self-esteem, and when you have low self-esteem, you never operate from your best self. Alright ladies, that's basically it. I probably will do a part 2 for this video, but I hope this video has been insightful. The main takeaways is, ladies, please work on your self-worth, your self-concept and your self-esteem. Make sure that you are creating a life that you want for yourself. You are building the ultimate self-confidence and self-worth, and really pouring into yourself. Learn to rewire your brain and to remove the negative programming that society has tried to train us for years, and really just live life on your terms and be so unapologetic with being you. And everything else will reflect that. When you start to operate from a place of high standards and high self-worth, I promise you the world will follow and bend towards your rules. And this is what we want. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.